Welcome to the Lovefly podcast. And today we are joined, it's like a party room. We've got the Happy Tails team here, and there's a whole bunch of people, and there's furry people as well. We're going to be talking about the work they did. Well, furry people won't, but we're going to be talking about all the different sort of help that you offer at the airports and all the other things that you do, all the amazing, wonderful stuff that you do. So don't hold back. I love you guests, so you can say anything, promote the hell out yourselves, because I think what you do, having had a good Google and nose around, it looks great. And John Bond, who's been in touch with some of you, I believe, he was very keen to get this on. He's a colleague of mine, so a colleague and friend. So welcome.
Welcome. Thank you, Paul.
Yeah. So Lauren, you're going to go first.
Yes, I'm Lauren Deshpande. I am the volunteer coordinator here at San Jose Mineta International Airport. And we have a wonderful group of therapy animal volunteers. These volunteers come into the airport 7 days a week, whenever they have time, and bring their animals in tow just to make people happy. So just a little history about how our program started. Just after 9/11, we had an interfaith chaplain named Catherine Libschutz, who owned a therapy animal dog, a Great Dane named Orion. And she asked permission to bring Orion into the airport to help comfort people. And that's where it took off. We were the first therapy animal program in the entire country, the U.S. And all the other airports around us thought, this is a wonderful idea. Let's also have a therapy animal program. As we've grown and expanded, we now have 44 active therapy animals, including 39 dogs. We have 4 cats, and coming soon, 1 large rabbit. So I'm very excited about that. And I want to just mention that we just rebranded from what was called the Canine Crew to now being SJC Happy Tails. We want to be inclusive to all the animals that we have. And, we want to recognize that we had the first therapy animal cat, as well as, a lot of dogs in the program. And Patty was the one to introduce the first therapy animal cat and several others since then.
Excellent.
So I think, Patty, would you like to go ahead and start about the cat? You're on mute.
Sorry, I was also trying to catch the cat. So my name is Patty Guthrie, and I started with the program, which was, of course, then called the Canine Crew in February or March of 2017 is when we got badged. This is not the first cat I started with. This is actually my younger therapy cat named Wookie. My older one named Moki looks almost exactly like him because I have a fondness for black cats. And we started with the program then because with Moki especially, we'd done a lot of different types of.
We'll never know. Keeping us in suspense. Are you alive? Are you with us, Patty? Why does Wi-Fi do that just at the critical moment,
Oh, the joys of the internet.
Yes.
Maybe Lisa, do you want to talk a little bit about Love on a Leash? That's the program that allows cats and rabbits in addition.
Patty was one of the first members of Love on a Leash. She actually was with them with the national chapter before we started our Silicon Valley chapter. And I believe our Silicon Valley chapter started about 2015 or so. And it is one of the therapy animal groups that allows dogs, cats, and rabbits at this point to be part of our therapy team. And this little one here is Hannah. She is a Maltese Shih Tzu. She is kind of on the verge of being retired because she is going to turn 15 in December.
Wow.
And so she's been with Love on a Leash since we joined in about 2015. And we started with the airport with Canine Crew back in about the beginning, I think January or February of 2017. And yeah, Hannah's been doing pet therapy work for 13 years. So she's got a lot of experience, and she's very quiet, and she's tiny. So everyone can pick her up and hug her and just love on her.
Wow. And she's looking great for 15. Wow.
Yeah, she's kind of, I'm tailing her back, and I'm in the process. I'm halfway in the process of getting my younger dog certified, and she will be turning 3 in October.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. Where are we going next? That's great.
Rhonda, do you want to start?
Sure. I'm actually a member of Love on a Leash, and have been since a little after Lisa. I think I also knew Patty through a local group called Furry Friends Pet Assisted Therapy Services. It actually even goes beyond dogs, cats, and rabbits. They have had birds, miniature horses, snakes. They have a professional behaviorist that does the evaluation. So the insurance trusts her, but the other two are local organizations. I'm also with Alliance of Therapy Dogs. And in fact, Steve was my evaluator for Matilda, who is sitting on my lap right now. Matilda is my second therapy dog. I had Penelope for 16 years, and these are bearded collies. So they're the traditional shaggy dog, a little smaller than an Old English sheepdog. And, but we go to the airport under both auspices, under Alliance of Therapy Dogs and under Love on a Leash. Amazing. And we go to a lot of other places. We were in a homeless shelter the other night. We go to nursing homes, rehab facilities, schools. Anybody who invites us, we are there. Because my girl loves people and doesn't get enough attention from me.
And can we see her face? I can just see a little bit of furriness, but I can't see. Oh, look at that.
Come on, Matilda. She's not a high energy dog in the daytime. She sleeps a lot. So she's sitting here next to me, but she is, let's see. Matilda, say hello. Say hello. If I put the speaker on and you talk to her, she actually will probably.
Patty's back. That's good.
Well, she is definitely there. And when we go on a therapy visit, she changes. She's interesting. She perks up. She knows she's working, and she becomes very attentive, not to me. And I tell people the difference, and I don't know how much you're going to go into this, Lauren, but therapy dog versus service dog. Service dog works for the person that takes them, and they're really not supposed to be touched by anyone else while they're working. Therapy dog is exactly the opposite. I'm just the transportation. She does all the work. And so we encourage people to touch and cuddle, and they'll braid her hair, and they will hug her because she responds well to being hugged. She'll lean into a hug. And that's some of what we do.
Oh, that's so cute. Thank you. Where are we going next, Lauren? You're the compare.
You look like you were showing off your lovely doggy.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Dolores, but I like to go by Dee. And this is Harley. Let's see if he'll get up. Harley, let's see if you'll wake up. This is something fun that we always bring to the airport with us. We bring green beans. This is how he gets up. It's his nap time, but he should get up for me momentarily, or maybe not. Maybe he'll join us, but he should be up here, and you'll be able to see him a little bit. He is a golden retriever. He's 11, and we rescued him from Taiwan. So he came in through the airport. We rescued him 10 years ago, and within the first year, we got him certified as a therapy animal, and he's going to come say hello to you right now, and you will see what he does. He sits, and he would have, and people go nuts giving him green beans and broccoli, and they love the story to hear about green beans, broccoli. And I said, yeah, just like humans, humans, if you eat cookies all day long, it's not good for you either. But, it's one of, if not the most rewarding time I have of the month. We haven't done it this year because he had a hip operation, complications, but otherwise we go every month, and we just love it. He, like I think Rhonda mentioned, he doesn't get enough loving from me. He misses that, and he loves having all the pets and attention from everyone.
Yeah.
And it's amazing what you see, Paul. You walk in and he's got his little vest on, and we can barely get past TSA, not even that. And sometimes we've just sat there to put my shoes back on, and there he goes. So I'll put the background back on. So you'll see you'll see back in the background, just like him sleeping there. But I've stopped at TSA just to get my shoes on, and he's sitting there, and hordes of people come around him. And it's just the most rewarding experience. It's my favorite time of the month because it's not necessarily, everyone's anxious when they go to the airport, every single person. And no one I've ever come across understands this program. Absolutely no one. And so I love educating them and saying San Jose was the first airport and what really goes on. And you just see people's anxiety level, whether they're going through a divorce, going on vacation, whatever it is, it goes from here all the way down. I've had stories countless every single time from a woman that came that was dealing with an elderly mother, and she said, I was going to go to the bar, and I said, well, would you like to, come sit here with him? And she stayed the entire time before her flight, and she was in tears, and I was just in tears, even talking to her, just loving on him. Her whole demeanor changed. And then one time I was at the airport and I ran into someone I knew, and he said, what is this program all about? And I was telling him, I love telling them about it and handing out his business card, and people get a kick out of that too. And he said, really, really? Oh, it's just fear of flying? I said, it's so much that and so much more. And he watched. And it is really, literally amazing to see how people change from just a minute or two. And literally you watch people, they get in line to come and snuggle on him and take their picture and to pet him. It's absolutely the most rewarding experience I have of the month. And I love to see just the anxiety, whether it's I have to catch my flight or I'm stressed out or what have you. And it leaves such a great feeling that the airport cares about the well-being of their travelers, and that you're sharing, your baby with them. And it's like nothing that an actual human can do alone. The animals open up and people talk to you. And it's very, very rewarding, very rewarding. And I leave so full and with so much gratitude.
That's amazing. That is, this is turning into one of my favorite podcasts at the moment. This is just lovely. I'm feeling it as well. And I'm not even near the doggies. And what else we got? Just got dogs today. Have you got any cats? There was a cat, wasn't there? Yes, there was a cat. Yes. Okay, Lauren, back to you. Where we go next?
Steve, you are reporting live from a golf course? Do you want to?
Yes, I'm working the Silverado Golf Tournament in Napa Valley. It's the Coordinate Championship, and I've been working this for 12 years, so I couldn't get away. And it's lovely out here, by the way. So my name is Steve Wincor. I actually am a tester observer as well as handler, and a large percentage of dogs that are from Alliance that do the San Jose Airport, I actually tested at one point in time or another. The airport started with a different group, and the airport changed over to Alliance, and I did most of the testing. And I own, at one point in time or another, had 4 standard poodles, of which 2 are still around, Gibson and Oakley. And they love the airport. One is 7 and one is 8 and one is 6. But we've been doing the airport for probably 7, 8 years, something like that.
Yeah.
And testing dogs is wonderful. Alliance is celebrating 30 years of doing therapy work. As a few people mentioned, they are one of the national organizations like Love on a Leash. And we do all kinds of visits. Recently, I took Gibson and we did USA Gymnastics, had an event here at SAB Center. And it was stress relief for the coaches and athletes. So quite an experience to do that and see some of potential, Olympic hopefuls. So the airport, I've not tested anybody that doesn't love doing the airport. It's very rewarding. You never know who you're going to meet, much less the kind of interaction that you get with the different people, because it varies from meeting veterinarians, the TSA folks, the flight crews. It's a wide range of people that you meet. And of course, the dogs just, love it. Typically at San Jose, we start at one end of the airport, work our way to the other end, and then go back. And for us, it takes almost 2 hours to do the complete circuit. So it's also a pretty long stretch of time for the dogs. So,
Yes.
And I have to say, San Jose's got a great little spot for the doggies to relieve themselves, totally equipped with a nice red fire hydrant. So they even have that opportunity built into the whole thing at the airport.
Brilliant. That wasn't one of my questions, but thank you. Oh dear.
Back to Lauren.
Yeah.
Patty, you got cut off. Do you want to finish up what you were going to say, and then we'll move to Anna?
Sure. My computer crashed, figures. Anyway, yes, so we started back, of course, I know a lot of people have covered already what I was starting to say, but we started back in February or March of 2017. And the reason I started doing this with Moki is that my first black therapy cat, and he is now over 16. He's 16 years and 4 months old. So he hasn't done a lot of visits this year so far. What I started doing visits with instead is my youngest cat, Wookie, who is 3.5. Moki is still qualified to do visits, and I could take him if I'd like, but he's getting pretty old and creaky, and the airport is sort of a long visit for him. We have a total of 3 therapy cats in the program, actually. Moki, who is, as I said, is over 16. Our tortoiseshell Widget, who is 7, and she is only handled by my partner, Dave Zemke, because just like Alliance of Therapy Dogs, Love on a Leash certifies person with pet.
Yes.
So Widget's not been certified with me. I can't visit with her. We, however, have dual certified with most of the rest. So we have 3 cats, Wookie, who I showed earlier, and the other 2. Wookie's 3.5, as I said, and then 2 dogs, because we believe in being busy. So we also have 2 cardigan Welsh corgis named Crystal and Sprocket. Crystal, however, is almost 15 herself, and so she has just about stopped as well. We took her to the airport several months ago and just brought her in past security and basically just let her wait for people coming through security. We couldn't go up and down through the airport with her. She's just too old now.
Yeah.
So that's always an opportunity, too, if you want to think of that, Dee. Just bring him right in and stick right around security, because that worked well for Crystal as she aged. But we did a lot. I've done many, many different types of visits with Moki over the years. He started visiting when he was 6 months old. And so we've done everything from a gigantic homeless fair up in Pleasanton to foster homes with kids, libraries, schools, nursing homes. Now, obviously, the airport, hospice visits, done so many visits with him that I always thought, boy, I'd love to see a cat in the airport too, because I'd started seeing the dog programs. And so we talked about it with one of the coordinators for Love on a Leash, and locally, who ended up talking to the right people at the airport and made it happen. So that's how Love on a Leash joined. And that's how I started in February or March of 2017 with my oldest cat. And just like everyone says, it's really neat to see people's faces. So with the cat, I actually draped the stroller with signs that say, therapy cat, because I'll have people petting him and say, "Oh, is this a cat?" Why, yes, it is not a dog. This is a cat. And of course, if anyone's allergic, I want to make sure, although I wipe them with dander reducing, I'd wipe all the animals, cats, dogs, almost me, with dander reducing wipes before we go visiting, just in case. But still, someone says they're allergic, I say, okay, please don't pet him then.
Yes.
Why don't you pet one of the dogs or whatever. And as I'm sure everyone has said, there's been so many lovely stories that I've run into. Time I went, there was hardly anyone in there. Just worked out that way. We also continued visiting over COVID. My partner Dave and I, we were among the few teams who actually continued visiting once a month or so, once every couple of months, even during COVID, even though we had full masks and everything. But one of the times I showed up, there weren't a lot of people there. We stopped and we were talking to two women who were waiting for a flight. And I said, well, would you like to have the cat on your lap? Oh, I love that. So I took his blanket out and he's trying to stay on that blanket. I put him on her lap and she's hugging him. And she finally said, I've been so stressed about flying. Her partner was like, I'm all right with it. She's like, I'm so scared of flying. This really has helped me. Oh, I'm just so happy you guys came here. And because it was so quiet, I was wondering how much are we going to get out of this? It was amazing. Just those little bitty things where you just don't know who you've helped on that particular day.
No,
but we've done it for 6.5 years, and we'll continue to do it for as long as we can. We just love the program.
Oh, amazing. What a great bunch of humans.
Anna, do you want to tell a little bit about the airport itself?
Hi, I am Anna State, Assistant Public Information Manager here at SJC, and I wanted to talk about my experience with the Therapy Animal program. I am, I think, the biggest fan of the program. I've recently moved to the United States, and I couldn't bring my two cats and my dog with me last year. They actually died in the meantime, and I'm the beneficiary, one of the beneficiaries of the program. It's a great program to be able to not replace, but just have my love for pets manifested towards the animals. I know them all by name. Actually, my neighbors in my new building, I know them by their pets, not necessarily by their human name. So it's a wonderful program, and I was so happy and honored to be, co-opted by Lauren in supporting this program, and also to know that I got to work at the airport that was the first one to introduce this program, which is a wonderful, wonderful program for people, as Patty was saying earlier, that are going through different situations in their life and need just a little bit of happiness, support, and fluffiness in their daily activities.
Happiness, support, and fluffiness. I love that. That should be a strap line. We're looking for something for Lovefly. John, who's been talking to Lauren, this is his thing. He's saying we need a strap line, so maybe we could borrow that one.
Yes, you can.
I'm not particularly fluffy, though, if I'm honest.
Me neither. That's why I look for fluffiness in pets.
Oh, fantastic! So tell us some more. Tell us some more.
What could I tell you more? SJC, it's a very nice airport with very nice passengers and with a great team here that is preoccupied in the wellness of our passengers. Actually, last year, we've been chosen as the best airport for customer experience in North America. Nice. Through the passengers' votes, and it was their option. So we hope that all of our programs come to support the passengers and to make them feel welcomed and to relieve their emotions before traveling and while traveling.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you all do. I love the fact that you're so supportive of it, and and that's really important. I love seeing all these animals on. I never thought I'd be doing a podcast where one day I'd have guests and furry guests. This is it. I've arrived. Oh, funny. So how do you think it helps? We've got a dog at the moment where my daughter's dog is here. He's got a Labrador and he's a big softie. I like him being around, but I'm wondering when it's at the airport, how do you think it helps with people's general anxiety, fear of flying? What's the magic?
There are countless studies that show that having a pet helps people relieve stress, helps children develop better, helps people be more sociable. There are programs where in elderly homes, some animal shelters bring animals just to make their lives funnier, easier, with less stress, with less worries. So it all comes down to psychology, I think, that explains to us exactly the role of pets in our life and the role of interacting with animals in a friendly way, in a friendly manner.
Definitely lowers blood pressure.
Absolutely. Yeah. It absolutely does. As everyone has said on here, everyone's dogs not only go to the airport, but other things. Harley is very involved in going to hospitals and wounded warrior projects. And you just see people gravitate, and you literally, Paul, can see it in people. You can see their, as Steve mentioned, you can see the blood pressure go from elevated to lower. And it may only be for the few minutes that they're with you, but at least that's something there, and you're making a difference. I mean, whether it's your dog, we know ours lowers our blood pressure and all that. And so all of us love sharing that. And, if nothing else, they walk by and they almost 100%, if they have time, want to stop, which is absolutely amazing. And it's just like Anna stated, there are studies that show it. It is physiological, that it happens in your body, and people actually want to stay longer. I mean, it's the biggest testament when flight crews go, "Oh, I don't have time, but I'm going to stop." I'm like, sure, you can stop. Anybody can stop too. People working there.
Just for instance, there's something about not only the cats and the dogs, but these animals that do this work somehow are able to read the humans that we interact with. And it's a very hard thing to explain. But if you think about it, there's one instance that one of my dogs had interacted with a lady that was in a wheelchair. And we all have stories like this, by the way. But, the lady started singing to my dog. And it turns out, in talking with the activity director, that lady hadn't spoken in 2 months. So somehow the dog and her clicked. So it's this experiential thing that the dogs have with the humans they meet. And it happens at the airport. It happens at all the places we go visit. There's something about that relationship that changes people, lowers the blood pressure, makes them talk or sing, or all of a sudden they'll reach down and pet the animal. It's hard to explain exactly what's going on, but you sure know that something's happening. So it's a real experience.
Paul, I read in your bio, you have a background in positive psychology. Well, I know a lot of that is chemical in the body. It's getting those enzymes to emit so that it calms and it relaxes. Well, to me, there's nothing more visual of knowing that's happening than watching a smile break out spontaneously. And that happens so much that it becomes, that is the reaction. And watching someone who looks stressed. And one of the things we do when we go into the airport is check the board and look for the delayed flights, because that always increases anxiety. It certainly increases my anxiety. And often people flying out of San Jose are connecting to other places and increases theirs. And so we go to those gates first and look for families and look for people. We walk around and I announce, this is not a service dog. This is a therapy dog. This is Matilda. You're welcome to come pet her. And then we just start walking. And sometimes people won't respond. They won't even look up. And all of a sudden a hand comes out and you watch the face change. I watch the faces. They watch the dog. I watch them. And it's remarkable because Dee said you see the blood pressure drop. Well, I don't have a blood pressure monitor, but I can see a face. And when that face breaks out in a completely different expression and the shoulders relax and the body relaxes, it is really an amazing thing. And I think some of that, Steve, is related to the dog's incredible sense of smell. They know they can smell stress, they can smell anxiety. And some dogs are a little afraid of that. But our dogs, and it's what makes a therapy dog different than dogs that don't really fit this mold. And not all do. Some dogs are marvelous family dogs, but they don't make good therapy dogs. And I think my dog can sense when someone is stressed, and I think it's related to smell. And so she knows to go up and she'll lean in. And she doesn't do that with me, but she'll do it with a stranger and allow a stranger to hug her and pet her. And eventually she'll see the change in them and she'll actually pull away and say, okay, we go on to the next person.
You're done now.
And it really, it's remarkable.
I love that. Because you said earlier on, I think Steve, I know you do assess, but I also got this is a phrase that quite a few of you said about the animal being certified and stuff. And I was just curious about what that meant. What happens.
So, Patty could probably, or one of the others could talk about Love on a Leash. But in terms of Alliance of Therapy Dogs, it starts with a handling test. So also they have to have all the appropriate veterinarian sign-offs for obviously the vaccinations and that they've been checked over within the year, et cetera. So there's some paperwork that's got to be done. With Alliance, they also do a background check because we do deal with kids. Then they do a handling test, and it's a multi-step handling test. So the handler and the dog have to go through this process. And then we do 3 site visits. It's a health facility and what we call one other one. And it could be your local hardware store or a pet store. And the idea is to see the handler working with the dog in a different kind of environment that may be noisy or have treats everywhere. And so between all these different components, the 4 pieces, if you end up with the assessor getting through all that and approved and we sign off, they send it in to the national office and they get a little heart tag that goes on a collar for the dog. And the handler gets a ID card. And then you're required to do a visit once a quarter. And there is a test at your renewal time each year to make sure you're paying attention to the current rules and regulations. Nice. Patty or somebody want to talk about Love on a Leash?
I think I'll speak to Love on a Leash because I have cats and dogs, which is a little different. Alliance of Therapy Dogs, of course, only does dogs. Love on a Leash will certify cats, dogs, and rabbits. And dogs are handled differently than cats or rabbits. But since I have both, I can easily speak to both. Love on a Leash starts out much the same way. It's a national organization, just as Alliance is. With Love on a Leash, if you have a dog, you have to go to a what we call a control evaluation. It's similar to what he said. It's a handler evaluation where the person and the dog are evaluated. The handler and the dog are evaluated by someone who's a licensed animal behaviorist or licensed dog trainer or something like that. And they have a series of things they watch for. Can they do a sit stay? Can they do a down stay? Can they walk through people? How do they react to somebody acting crazy, wild-eyed and arms waving around them, shouting, that sort of thing. The cats have a different initial evaluation. The cats are evaluated and the rabbits are evaluated by the veterinarian, which to me is actually more stressful than the evaluation for the dog handler, because I have never had a single animal who's happy at the vet. Even my therapy animals get nervous at the vet. Yeah. So, but again, they do a lot of the same stuff there. They're checking, how does the animal react? Can I pick them up? Can I poke them? Can I push them? Does this cat or rabbit react poorly to any of these things? And of course, are they up to date on vaccinations? Yeah. Yeah. Do they seem to be a threat? either way you do it, whether it's a cat or a rabbit or whether it's a dog, once they pass that initial evaluation, then with Love on a Leash, they do a total of 10 visits. Now, unlike Alliance of Therapy Dogs, you can't use stores. They will not allow you to use any sort of a store for any of it. It has to be, or nor can you do a home visit. Like I couldn't go visit a person in their home, although I can normally as part of Law on a Leash. It has to be some sort of a facility or organized place. So it can be a nursing home, it can be a school, it can be a variety of things, but they do have some limits on what you can do. All of those visits, you must be accompanied by a supervisor. And that supervisor isn't a specific evaluator, unlike with Alliance of Therapy Dogs. It's a member of Love on a Leash who's experienced. So I have evaluated or supervised, as has Rhonda, as had Lisa, numerous people going through various facilities. Now, let me also note that we don't do this at the airport. The airport, we only allow animals who have actually received their final evaluation and their cards, because I don't feel that that's a good testing place. That's not, I don't want someone to be tested there. I want them to be already established by the time you get to the airport. But so it's very similar. We do the 10 visits. They're evaluated at the end by someone who's seen them at least 5 times, send it off to the national. We get our cards and we have to carry those with us every time. We don't have a yearly as well, though. We just renew every year. But in many ways, the organizations are pretty similar, except the testing, the process is a bit longer, and we do cats, dogs, and rabbits.
I have to say, I'm really impressed with how much testing and evaluation. I'm quite surprised by that. And the people listening will be gobsmacked, as we'd say in the UK. I don't know if you say that over there. Gobsmacked? Try it out.
Yeah.
Try it out. There you go. I'll give you, that's a gift. Try that in the US, all right? Gobsmacked means
gobsmacked. Yep.
Yeah.
Paul, I want to add that on top of the certifications, our therapy animal volunteers have to get badged at the airport. And that includes a 2-appointment process of getting fingerprinted and then coming and taking an exam just to work at the airport. So they have to watch security videos and answer questions that they learned. So these people are so dedicated to what they're doing. I mean, it's not just some simple thing of, hey, I want to take my pet to the airport. It is, I am passionate. I want to bring love and joy and happiness to people I don't even know. And that's one of the most beautiful things about this program. It's one of the things that I love about my job is just being able to support something like this. And, you know, all the people here who volunteered their time just to be on this podcast. It's just,
I am blown away. Absolutely blown away. That one translates all right. Yeah. It's a softer version of gobsmacked. Blown away. I think that one works. But so I'm really interested in what is the best bit for anybody can sort of chime in for this, but what's the best bit for you? If you had to say there's one thing that you particularly love about doing this work that you do, what would it be?
I guess I can speak to, there's so many things that are, you know, I don't know if I can specifically say one thing, but I think the main thing would be is just seeing a life impacted. You know, like we all say, you don't know what situation someone's in. And, you know, just seeing their demeanor, you know, their stress level, and seeing a smile appear on their face, it's just, it really, it's kind of neat to watch that, you know, our little fur babies can, you know, really affect, you know, people without even speaking their language. You know, I think their love is universal and you don't need, you know, a common language, because I can share one experience with Hannah. We were at the airport and there was a woman who landed with her son and she thought she was at the wrong airport. So she got really stressed. She started crying, and her son, of course, kind of picked off of mom's, you know, just panic and all. And they bumped into Hannah, and, you know, Hannah gave him a shake and gave him a high five. And the little boy stopped crying. And, you know, just kind of the biggest grin came on his face as he interacted with her. You know, there was no language that was needed. And I went a couple weeks later, and one of the gate attendants said, "Oh yeah, I have to tell you what happened." And they said they couldn't get the boy to stop crying for almost an hour, and their little Hana came along and just changed everything. So it's just, I think, seeing the impact that our little pets have on everyone.
That's
and
a
knowing
great
that
story.
you're making a lasting change.
That's lovely. Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah. Really well said, Lisa. But I think what I've also seen, and a lot of people ask, well, why'd you choose the airport? Or, oh, it's just everyone assumes it's just fear of flying. Although that's how it started after 9/11, which is a great reason to start that. And how many airports now in the United States have that because of that chaplain in San Jose? It is so much bigger and encompasses so much more. It encompasses everything that people go through in their lives, everything. And so, people might think, oh, well, just because you're afraid of flying. No. And that is what's the most wonderful part. And I love educating people about that too. And they kind of think about that, because that's what you walk away from. Like Lisa was saying, and granted, fear of flying is a real thing, and you love helping people with that too. But everyone's got a story going to the airport, and you find it when they're touching your animals.
Yeah, I guess you get under the radar, don't you? Yeah. Sorry, Rhonda, go for it.
No, it's okay. There's so much, and I'm sure your time is limited. But for me, it's also
not.
watching my dog bring joy to others. You're right. No, hopefully, no, your time is not any more limited than the rest of us. But watching my girl bring joy to other people. A couple of weeks ago, we met some of the first flights back to San Jose from Maui after the fire. And I know Hana and Lisa were there, and Patty was there with, I think, dog and cat. And watching some of those people and these are not people who were afraid of flying. These are the people who have just flown. We met them at the gate. We met them at baggage. A lot of them looked shell-shocked. They had been 4 days without cell phone, without electricity, some of them on vacation, some of them live there. And watching them hug my girl and smile and cry, and knowing that you were helping a little bit to give their lives a little bit of joy in what had been just a horrendous experience. Yeah. And that, I walk out, I lose weight at the airport. I walk out lighter. I walk lighter. And it's a joy.
Anybody else?
No,
I'm loving these stories. I have to say, I've noticed I'm just grinning the whole time as well, and I'm not even near the pets.
If I could do it 7 days a week, I mean, we're all volunteers, right? But it's my happiest time. It's the happiest thing I do all month.
I agree. If I had
it's
more
not
time,
just the passenger, but it's not just the passengers.
Nope.
We get comments and pets from the TSA employees, from the custodians, from the vendors, from the flight crews. It's everybody we come into contact at the airport from the moment we walk out of the parking area. It's people greeting flights. It's a wonderful, wonderful place to volunteer. It does as much or more for me than it does for the people we visit.
Absolutely. And there's a trickle-down effect too. Some people say, wow, I've got an animal that's really calm, where they live, and they want to know more about the program. I've given them ATD's information and told them about that. And last year they wrote an article on San Jose Airport as well as San Francisco Airport, highlighting the program. So, yeah.
I was just thinking the same thing too. I was going to say, my comment was going to be, not only do we love visiting all the people and just, trying to help their day better, whether it's the gate attendant or whether it's TSA or someone flying, but I especially love talking to people who say, I've got a friendly cat, a 2-year-old lab or whatever at home. I'm interested in this. And I'll say, well, there's a lot of different groups. You can look at Love on a Leash. You can look at Alliance of Therapy Dogs. I always push you guys to. You can, sometimes there's local groups. Look into this and see if you're interested in it. And you never know what you're spreading out there.
Absolutely.
And just as a point, just because, we have different organizations, because Alliance and Love on a Leash okay interacting. If there's an event going on or something like that, and we're looking for people, I'll contact Patty or whoever and say, hey, we need more people for this particular event, or we're gonna go ahead and do. We used to do a Halloween or Christmas walkthrough at the airport, and we try and get multiple handler teams coming to that event. At Halloween, we hand out candy to the kids throughout the airport. So, it's more than, just a handler and a dog or a cat or whatever. Sometimes we do things together.
Yeah.
And Paul, the other thing I wanted to mention, just so you know, once these dogs are certified, these organizations support the handler team by providing insurance that covers the handler and their pet as soon as they enter the facility. So it's another positive thing as an outcome of becoming a certified team.
Amazing. Thank you. I've just come back to then Honor or Lauren, if you'd like to do some final words to kind of wrap up. I've really enjoyed this. I have to say, I really enjoyed this podcast. It's been lovely just to shut up, let you tell your stories, see the animals, obviously see you as well, but the animals, let's be honest, they're the stars. And I'm just really grateful for your time. I'm blown away that you be able to give your time today and come on. It's amazing. Yeah. So, Honor or Lauren, is there anything you'd like?
I just want to say that I am so grateful for this opportunity to share our story, to share just this little brightness of the day with looking at all of these happy, smiling animals. And I am blown away by our team and just everything you all do for us. Some of the stories I haven't heard before, so I'm kind of tearing up a little bit. But at San Jose International, we really care about our passengers. And I know that sounds cliche, but we've got a customer experience team who is dedicated to making everyone's days much brighter. Anna, you might say our tagline, fly simple. So we try to be that easygoing airport. And one little plug for another program that I manage, we have the Sunflower Lanyard program, which you may be familiar with in the UK, which just helps people who may need a little extra time going through the airport, notify our employees that they need that extra time and care. So maybe that's for another episode. But
yes, why not? Come back as long as you bring some animals, obviously some handlers as well, but mainly it's the animals. That's what I want to say. No disrespect to you all.
Oh, not at all, not at all. I also manage information booth volunteers. We have all different programs here. Yeah,
well, your airport sounds like a little pocket of light, and if you've got amazing people like this volunteering, I think it's fantastic. It's I've been I've really enjoyed this one, so I don't want it to end, but we're getting towards the sweet spot for people to listen and watch things for. It's like you can't, once you get around about the 45 minutes, people think, but this has been lovely. It's been really, really positive, uplifting, and I'm quite blown away by how much you give and how much you help people, not just fear of flying, but just general, the human condition. It's phenomenal. So thank you so much for giving your time today, this morning, this afternoon, this evening for us. I'm really, really grateful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Paul.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to see some pets waving, please. Come on, don't be rude. That is beyond
There we
cute.
go.
Amazing.
No, we are out.
All right, amazing. All right. Well, hopefully we'll see you again. Thank you so much.
Here you
So
go.
grateful.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Take care.
Bye-bye.